Welcome back to another episode of the First of the Worst podcast. I'm Brendan Murphy.
And I am Steve Arendis.
And, a few months back, I met a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, and he is a faithful listener of this podcast, Bill Hupp. Hopefully he's listening to this one, maybe even send a tweet at us at First of the Worst. And he said, I didn't realize how much you drank. I was like, thanks. He's like, you guys talk about it all the time. And that was back when I was a little sadder than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still drinking all the time. So I don't think it's a symptom of that. And this podcast is definitely about how much we drink. I think for you, it's tapered a little bit, but this is just a temporary lull.
Well, I mean, it's a temporary lull, and a serious lull and a temporary lull combined, probably, right?
I mean, your kids are going to make you drink more than ever eventually when they start talking and being dicks.
Yeah, and I am going to a tailgate tomorrow. That's theoretically all I could drink.
Yeah. I mean, it's circumstantial. My point is, you're still on Team Lush.
Yeah, I wish I could be on it a little more.
Yeah, you're just, you tore your ACL. You're not really getting as much game time.
I need to get some more run. Yeah, so what we're talking about this week are hangovers. And there's no reason to explain why these are bad and why they qualify for the list. Because they're terrible.
The only thing we need to explain is how we ranked them.
Yeah.
So types of hangovers it's kind of an open-ended. It could be a Bacardi hangover, though. If that's the top hangover for you, you need to learn how to drink. Or, it could be like an Easter Sunday hangover, also a strange one. But it's kind of open-ended in that regard. But the way we ranked them isn't the potency of the hangover. That makes it the best hangover.
The best hangover is the worst one to have.
Yes, in the same way Snowmageddon was the best storm that Chicago ever had, but it was the worst storm. Really, it was the most potent storm.
Exactly. So this will be interesting because there's not like a Wikipedia list that we were able to go off of for this one. So we kind of just had to make up a lot of these, I would assume.
Oftentimes when they go off the rails, it gets more entertaining. They also get longer. This could be like one of those podcasts. Remember when VHS tapes when you rented and they had 2 VHS tapes attached to them and you were like, holy shit. It's supposed to be an Oliver Stone movie.
Like a PlayStation 1 game that had 2 discs.
Oh man, God, I forgot about that. and also DVDs, when they first came out, you would flip them.
Yeah.
Goodfellas. Goodfellas had 2 sides.
Absolutely. All right, let's just get into it and see what weird place this takes us.
Okay.
What's your number 10?
Number 10. Let me pull this up on my very, very nifty Mac machine. I'm calling this, and this one is one that we probably don't experience as much anymore. The only circumstance where I think that this is a very likely thing to experience would be a college football game.
Okay.
Which you might actually be experiencing this tomorrow. It was much more common when I was under the age of 21.
Okay.
It's the mid-event hangover, though, where you could just like drink all you want, or pregame as we used to call it. But then you get to the event and you can't really drink. And it wears off and you feel incredibly shitty.
I actually related to this on my list, but I experienced this once by going to a Cubs game that lasted
good one. Yeah.
That lasted like 15 innings.
Similarly,
to stop serving booze at like the 7th inning or something.
That Pearl Jam concert at Wrigley Field 2-3 years ago, I was with a buddy and we got hammered. But then they had a 2-hour delay. And they still had to follow like Wrigley Field rules of when you could stop serving. Pearl Jam came on after playing maybe 5 songs at midnight, and there was no beer. And then it was really like a marathon. Like I saw a girl just like sitting there with her head in her hands. I don't know if she was crying or sleeping. And her boyfriend, who was a diehard, was like, "Fuck this, we're not leaving." And I was like, "That's why you don't bring a non-fan."
That was like the worst day of her life.
Yeah. And coincidentally, one of the best of mine, even though I was kind of hungover.
Well,
it was also 100 fucking degrees outside. Then rained.
That Cubs game I went to, there was a second game. It was a doubleheader but it wasn't like one of those like like where you stay in the stadium doubleheaders. But the first game went so long, we ended up just buying tickets to the next game because we could get beers like 20 minutes later when the next game started. So my number 10, I called this one. You're actually hungover, but sometimes you think you're still drunk.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one that's on my list. I'll go into my own anecdotes later, but I'm with you.
Still drunk. I don't get this one a lot. I feel like girls get this one more than guys. And I think
there
it's
has to be
smaller, like a weight
there has
size.
to be a lot of liquor involved for.
And you wake up, you're like, yeah, still drunk, still drunk. And I think it's better than the ones above it, but then sometimes the hangover comes later. And then we'll get to my number 9, which is a sneaky one that I don't think a lot of people, maybe not everybody gets. But I call it shouldn't be hungover hangover.
Okay.
And this is not like the harshest hangover, but it's a hangover that you shouldn't have got. You didn't drink enough to be hungover. You were specific in your responsibility the night before.
I do think that's actually pretty bad because
it sucks.
You mentally budget for having a hangover.
Yeah. And you were like, okay, I'm going to have 3 or 4 beers and I'm going to feel okay the next day. And for some damn reason, you wake up and feel like shit.
Also,
and you're like, if that was the case, I could have just had 100 beers last night.
Yes. And you're probably reining it in because you had something to do the following day.
Exactly. It sucks.
That's a shitty one. Yeah.
All right. What is your number 9?
My number 9, and I feel like some mention of this will be on your list. We have discussed on this podcast how the Super Bowl should be a national holiday. And I don't think that I've gotten really hammered on Super Bowl Sunday in a few years, but I have before. And you have a life to live the next day.
Yeah.
And that's shitty.
I don't really drink during the Super Bowl. I usually am hungover during the Super Bowl.
You have that. You always have something the Saturday before that is tradition, though.
Well,
right?
Recently, yeah. And it's one of my buddy's birthdays is often that weekend. So like, it's just like, yeah.
So I don't really have a follow up. I mean,
yeah, no, I understand. It gets back to, I have something later on. I just call at work. But yeah, Super Bowl Sunday should just be a holiday. I don't know why it's.
I mean, the Monday after should be.
Yeah, the Monday after should be.
I mean, it's really hard to get a national holiday passed. I mean, John McCain and a bunch of Republicans were opposed to them making Martin Luther King Day a national holiday. And then he ran for president, which was really funny.
But it's not really. It was like you don't get I don't get off of work for Martin Luther King Day.
Government agencies and schools do.
Yeah.
And you work for a company run by Germans, so who wants to follow their model for social justice? I'm not going to go into any further detail there.
It's true. So what's your number 8?
It is called the brunch day drink hangover, which means you stopped at like 4 p.m. or something. And
I have this one ranked higher. I hate it.
At 7 p.m., you feel really shitty. Like you're watching Amazon Prime because fuck Netflix and chill. And you're just
pounding out Man in the High Castle that just came out.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that is. I just wanted to be a fucking contrarian.
You gotta get in on it. I haven't watched it yet. I saw like you know how Amazon Prime does they post like the first episode and then people vote on them or whatever. I watched that one like 3 months ago, and it finally is like the rest of the season's coming out today. It's an old book that I made into a show, and it's about if the Nazis and the Japanese won World War II, and like half the country is run by the Japanese and half of it's by Nazis.
That seems rather depressing to me.
But I'm sure it's gonna go into like the rebellion, right, and like how I get out of it.
So it's kind of like the Hunger Games, which I've been listening to all morning.
Yeah, listening to.
The first thing I heard when I woke up today was "The Quarter Quell Hath Begun" by Donald Sutherland, because my neighbor has been in a Hunger Games marathon and cooking, I thought, meatloaf since 7 a.m.
I
That was
assume it's some crock pot thing, right?
No, I think you're right. It smells like meatloaf. It smelled so good that I had hot dogs for breakfast, covered in cheese curds.
Is the new Hunger Games out in the theater? You think they're watching them all and then going to the new one?
That's got to be it, because Elizabeth Banks hosted SNL this past week.
That must be what's going on. Big Hunger Games party.
Do you think? I think Elizabeth Banks is super hot.
Yeah, dude, she's hot. She's hot.
I mean, she's kind of like probably 40 now, which is not old, but
she's still really hot.
Yeah.
I watched a terrible movie when I was in bed, because it was one of those things where you turn on the TV and it's just on and you just kind of watch it in the morning when you're hungover. Happens. And it was a movie it was horrible. It was called Walk of Shame. And it was starring Elizabeth Banks on A Walk of Shame. And she was super hot in that movie.
Yeah, I think she's really hot. So that was an aside. So yeah, the brunch hangover.
Yeah, brunch hangover. Yeah, I could talk more a little bit about that later. I have the same thing under a different name later on. My number 8, I guess then. I call this the delayed hangover. You ever get that time where you like wake up in the morning after you've been drinking, you're like, "Oh, I'm good. I did it. I'm good." And then you like go out to like meet friends or something, and then you're just like sitting there and all of a sudden your head just feels like it's going to explode.
You know, I don't really get that, but I was talking with my girlfriend about this last night, and she was like, that's like my number 1.
It's so brutal because like you think it's past, and then you're like, I'm gonna go out to the bar, like, and have like I'm gonna go get brunch, or like I'm gonna go do some errands, and then you're out, you just want to fucking throw up. It's not good. It's a bad one.
It sounds horrible. It's not. I don't know. My body just attacks me immediately. It's not couth enough to like sneak attack.
Maybe it's more efficient.
I don't know. Look at you. We do this podcast through a video. Does this look like an efficient body?
I think it's efficient when it comes to drinking.
I am good at that. Although I overrated myself. I've tried to go toe to toe with some of the better drinkers I know and been like, look, I'm 240 pounds. I drink all the goddamn time. There are people that are a lot better at this than me. Not many, but there are people that are a lot better at this.
I have my days where I could go with anybody, but I can't predict when those days are going to happen. So then my number 7 is we kind of briefly talked about on your Super Bowl Sunday talk, and that's just at work. Specifically, though, it gets worse the earlier in the week your at work hangover is.
I actually have an anecdote I want to go into a little later, but I would disagree to some extent. And I'll just go into it now. Here's the thing. Summer Fridays, a lot of people have these. So oftentimes on Thursdays, you go out, or I go out and drink like Summer Friday doesn't begin till noon.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first half of the day that you have to work. And it's really shitty, even if it's a Friday. But maybe I'm taking it further because I have a half day.
I used to play flag football on Thursdays, and we would just always go out after that. So I got used to being hungover on Fridays. One season though, we played flag football on Wednesday, and it was terrible. And I was just hungover and felt like shit for 2 days at work, basically, because I was like hungover on Thursday and then tired on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's never a good thing.
It's not a good thing at all.
And everyone can kind of see it on you. The worst is if people know like you're going to a game or a concert.
So then they know.
So they know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you show up with a Gatorade in your hand at work, you're just telling everybody.
Yeah.
No rational person drinks Gatorade at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning unless they're about to run a marathon or they're hungover.
I actually get dehydrated pretty easily, so I'll do it. But usually I'm dehydrated because I've been drinking the night before.
Exactly.
Maybe that's just me being like, God, my body dehydrates so easily, and my body's like, stop drinking 5 nights a week.
So, what is your number 7?
It is actually, while we're on the topic of how much we drink, have you ever you know how your doctor asks me they ask you when you go in for a physical, like how many drinks do you have for a week?
Yeah.
Do you ever answer that honestly?
Yeah, I answer. I answer every question doctors ask me honestly.
I do too, and so I said I don't know,
I want to hear what your number is.
I said, I don't know, 30. And she's like, 30? And I was like, yeah. And she just looks at me. She kind of laughs. She goes, you know, that's bad, right? And I was like, you went to medical school, bitch. Can you do a little better than you know that's bad, right? Yeah, fucking I know that's bad. Because I have Google.
My number's not that bad now because, like, I mean, not even now because now I have the twins, so it's like almost nothing. But like even before that, because like often I would only drink. I kind of quit drinking like non-weekends. I don't really drink non-weekends for the most part. So like when you actually add up the number, it doesn't get that crazy.
Yeah, I tried that for a while, and then I started trying stand-up comedy in bars every single weeknight. And bars, these are already pretty depressing bars. They're incredibly sad sober.
At one point in my life, I'm pretty sure I told the doctor like 45.
I mean, I think the 30 is like fairly accurate
when you average it out.
Yeah, because like Friday and Saturday, I'm gonna go pretty hard, but like 2 or 3 on like a Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, we're on a little sidetrack here. We're talking about hangovers. Do you have any go-to hangover remedies? Dream scenario, you have a hangover. What are you doing to get over it?
Okay, this is terrible. This also my doctor would probably disapprove of. I will have a Gatorade or Smart Water bedside and a Xanax and Advil, and I will just take the Advil Xanax cocktail and fall back to sleep until 1 p.m. and wake up feeling pretty good.
Oh, see, you're better at hangovers. I think I get worse hangovers than most people. My move, I don't do the Xanax on the hangover. It doesn't really help me.
You don't get a hangover anxiety? I mean, I just constantly.
Oh, I do, but it doesn't work. Alcohol makes me anxious, like weirdly, and if I'm not drunk, so that's why I don't like really drink during the week.
Gotcha.
So no, it doesn't work with me. So, well, I have my own remedy for anxiety. So let's say purest hangover. No laws are there to prevent me from doing anything. What I'm going to do in my ideal universe is wake up, drink just as much water as I could drink, take some Advil. Then I'm going to smoke a bowl. Then I'm going to
play with your kids.
Then this is why I can't do this anymore. Then I'm going to walk to a 7-Eleven that's across the street, hopefully. I'm going to walk into that 7-Eleven. I'm going to buy a Coca-Cola Slurpee. Biggest size they have. Because it's cold and it has caffeine. I'm going to buy Gatorade. I'm going to buy bottled water. I don't know why. I'm going to buy probably whatever junk food my body wants. So maybe that's a French bread pizza. Maybe that's bags of chips. Maybe that's those microwavable White Castle burgers.
Those things have changed my life, by the way, as an aside.
Maybe it's the weird spinning stuff behind the counter.
Ooh, I've never gone down that road.
Maybe French bread pizza. French bread pizza. Oh, dude, that spinning stuff is pretty good. You got to talk to the guy and let him know. Ask him which ones are fresh. Then I'm gonna get a couple scratch-off lottery tickets. Then I'm gonna go home. Maybe a breakfast sandwich. Then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna eat all of that stuff, and then I'm gonna lay down in the bathtub and turn on the shower. And then I'm gonna get out of the shower, and then I'm gonna lay down and watch a shitty movie and hopefully fall asleep.
God, this just sounds like you're shame spiraling more than anything else.
That's seriously. I've had many days that were like that.
You're trying to get the filth out of your body.
No, you have to put more in to get it out.
Okay, yeah. The White Castle microwavable burgers sliders are almost as good as they are at White Castle.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
because they're mush at White Castle.
Yeah, they're gross all the time. So they're awesome. You're just not getting the onions. But yeah. I will.
And the little brown mustard.
I mean, 7-Eleven has kind of become my my like drunk food because I like their egg salad sandwiches. I had one last night actually.
They have good breakfast sandwiches.
People always make fun of me for liking egg salad sandwiches for 7-Eleven, and I don't really have a great defense of that. The only thing I could say is, have you had one?
I haven't, but I've had a lot of their food, so I wouldn't doubt it. I often would go there drunk too, because when I used to live across the street from one, and I like kind of started to know the guy who worked there at like 3 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, it also becomes your grocer to some extent too. You need milk. I mean, you need Band-Aids. They got a lot of shit. I'm a big fan.
And you know, they know when you're ordering like 4 drinks and it's just like all like these like random drinks in your hands and like all this junk food. Like you look around there's like 2 other dudes doing the exact same thing I'm doing.
It doesn't matter what night of the week it is. Last night I went in there and there were these 2 African guys arguing. Just one was the clerk and one was a customer, but I think it was just his friend. And I was in line, and the guys just standing there, and they let me. They were arguing about like the devaluation of their currency or something. They were into it, and they did not let me. They did not help me for like 5 minutes. And I was like, I wish I could understand what was going on here, because this seems like spirited debate.
7-Eleven is an interesting place, man.
It is. It is.
A lot of weird stuff goes on there. All right. What number are we
I got the Boys Town 7-Eleven, so I got all kinds of shit going on.
I used to go to my go-to one was the one on Wrightwood and Sheffield. So it's like kind of there on the corner by like DePaul. So kind of I call that triangle the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Although there is like a retirement home right there.
Yeah, well, on the other side of the triangle.
Yeah.
Outside of the triangle. The triangle goes from like Barn and Company down to that like corner on Sheffield and Fullerton, and then to like Lincoln,
where there's like a Lou Malnati's or something.
Yeah. It is. All right. Are we on your number 7 or your number 6?
We are on my number 7, and I do apologize for taking us off track. It's called the switch to liquor late hangover, which is kind of akin to your surprise hangover. Because if you switched to liquor late, you weren't actually intending to get drunk, then you got kind of drunk, and we're like, yeah, what the fuck?
Things escalate quickly. Shots.
Now, for me, it's usually, I mean, now at my age, it's usually whiskey on the rocks, which is fine but potent, and I will drink it much faster if I'm already lubricated.
Yeah, see, that's a drink I've decided if I'm going to drink that, I kind of got to start doing that.
That's a good philosophy.
And then just pace yourself with it. And you also can't get on like a buying round situation when you're like when I'm at a bar and I'm like going like bourbon on the rocks and like my buddies are drinking beer and you're like, oh, I'll get this round. You can't just, you gotta be like, I'm opting out of the rounds because you're gonna murder me. You're gonna murder me. So I'm opting out of the rounds.
One of the advantages to drinking liquor on the rocks is you do drink it slower or neat. I'm not man enough to drink whiskey neat, really, which is like a crime with some of the whiskey, but I don't think that the bullshit I order. I think that, I don't think
anybody's getting offended if I order a bullet bourbon with on the rocks.
That's like pretty good liquor, though. I would say like Beam is as good as you'd want to go to like on the rocks.
Bullet's like $3 more than Beam for a bottle.
Well, so you're right. We're right at the threshold there. I land on this side, you land on the other side. Also, if you were like, what's the difference between whiskey and bourbon? I'd be like, Kentucky. I don't know. Because there are people who are like, I love bourbon. And I'm like,
well, I can tell the difference because I mean, it's like sweeter. I think. It's a little sweeter. And then like Irish whiskey is like not as sweet. And then I don't know. I can't really tell the difference between
Irish whiskey is filled with
tears.
20 generations of oppression. Yeah. That's a difference. Southern bourbon is filled with 20 generations of oppressors.
Yeah, so I get that hangover probably with shots. Like some night escalates into some weird thing, and I end up doing 2 bear fights at the end of the night, and then I don't even know what's going on after that. And then I wake up with the worst hangover ever.
Is that the time you came home with all the scratches on your body?
No. Bear fight's the shot. You ever done a bear fight?
No, I thought you were fighting bears, and I was like, that says a lot about you.
No. We're gonna have to do a bear fight sometime. It's a Jaeger bomb followed by a car bomb.
I haven't done a Jaeger bomb in many, many years. There was a night when a friend of mine got a promotion and we went to Bernie's and there was no one in there. So it was just our friend was pretending bar and we were watching movies. We were watching the Blues Brothers and the Big Lebowski. Yeah. And we were doing Jaeger bombs, but at Bernie's they call them Margot bombs. Our friend is Margaret. And we were hammered. And by the end of the night, we kept ordering them and she was just giving us the Red Bull. but we didn't realize it. She was just like, yeah, these are good. These are good. You guys are fine. And then I went home, and I was as one of the like probably 5 or 6 drunkest times I've ever had in my life. And I was wired like I've been doing blow with Ray Liotta all night, and I did not sleep till like 7 a.m. And that was a hangover.
That totally reminds me because it's been so long since I just drank a bunch of Red Bull when I was, but like that's one of the worst hangovers.
Oh yeah, the sugar
caffeine.
Yeah,
like your heart feels like you're gonna explode. It's gonna explode in the morning too.
Yeah. You feel like Lynn Bias.
What's your number 6?
New Year's Day hangover. And I actually put this on because I love New Year's Day because I just power through. There's a pajama party at a bar in Lincoln Park. What's that one across the street from over on Webster and
McGee's?
McGee's, yeah, I love McGee's. And
I love that you love McGee's.
I love McGee's. I'm okay with it. You know what? Because there's an adult crowd that goes to McGee's.
There's a weird adult crowd.
There's
there.
A weird adult crowd that goes to
adults and 19-year-olds.
That's where I went the last day of my 20s to drink all day. And it's a pajama party, and all of the ridiculous college kids are home, so it's just a bunch of divorced moms who like the gym. If you're single, guys, I'd recommend. I own a onesie because of this party. And let me tell you, it's actually pretty fucking comfortable.
Yeah, New Year's Day, usually, that hangover's not bad, I feel like, because I usually, except for that maybe it's champagne filled, which sometimes makes it a little worse. But like for me, my New Year's Days involve usually drinking and sitting around and watching football and eating junk food, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. The real hangover for me would probably be January 2nd, I guess. But I just really wanted to talk about the pajama party. And that I own a onesie with footballs on it.
My last New Year's Day was, I think, involved inventing some weird a drinking game we called Awful Waffle, which involved drinking a lot of Crown Royal Maple because it tasted like an awful waffle. And I think it was so bad. It was a dice game that involved people taking shots of it, and everybody was really drunk, and it was actually a deceivingly good time.
See, one of the things I admire most about you is your gamesmanship. Just really, you will take lemons and make it into a lemon squeezing contest, if you will.
I love lemons. I'll just eat lemons straight.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Embracing the challenge.
All right. My number 6. Are we on then, or is that your 6?
That was my number 6.
Okay. My number 6 is, we already kind of talked about it. It's the day drinking evening hangover. Like that's your brunch hangover. Like the day drinking when you're hungover in the evening. It's terrible to be hungover in the evening when you're not like kind of waking up. But the only upside to that hangover is if you can get to like 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., you can kind of just go to bed.
Yeah. You know, that actually makes me think about an aspirational hangover I have. That's day drinking related. And that is the boat party hangover, because that's definitely going to be a day drinking thing. But I've only been on a boat once in like a fun Chicago boat party setting.
I've had many a boat party hangover.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much this, but it's cooler because you were on a boat.
You're also a bit sunburned, so that like adds to the boat party hangover. You get like the sun, you know, like when you're like tired from being in the sun all day too. Yeah, you get that in there. And sometimes you have like some sore muscles from like if you were like water skiing or tubing or some shit.
Yeah, I mean,
you're drunk. So then you have like a sore arm, something like that. Yeah.
You can get that from the beach too, but in Chicago, let's be real. Nothing separates the haves and the have-nots like the beaches and the boats. I'm a beach guy who someday dreams of having a boat. I'm like one of those Republicans who someday dreams of being rich. So I'm going to vote for lower taxes for the rich because one day I will be one.
Yep, there it is.
And own a boat.
It's a great way to have money is to own a boat.
It is considered a fail-safe. We were discussing, I think, last week, the wedding travel day hangover.
Yeah, I have this higher.
It's really bad.
It's not good.
Because if you traveled for a wedding, that means you drank for 2 days, not the one.
Mm-hmm.
Probably did not sleep that well the first night.
And I'm a person who's always had a car, so I'm always the assholes driving. And I spit on the people who say these hangovers are bad and are sitting in the passenger seat or the back seat.
I don't have a car, but I will volunteer to drive. Usually it's a empty gesture, but I was taken up on it this summer.
Like you're driving home, bro.
Yeah, and then everyone's smoking pot, and I can't smoke pot because I'm driving, and I already get paranoid enough when I'm hungover.
So you're probably just hotboxed anyway.
Yeah, this is hearsay in a court of law, by the way, and and yeah, it was not the greatest. But it just always sucks. I mean, here's the good thing: is you're usually with people you really like, and you're all kind of in the same shape, and you could get like out of like your condition comes some humor.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, most of the time.
Now, if you haven't done many solo weddings, probably for many years, but like if you're flying solo on the way home, I did a couple weeks ago. We went into it on the podcast. I won't go into too much detail, but a bus ride into Manhattan, a train ride to LaGuardia, a plane to Chicago, a blue line to Belmont, and then I just said, "Fuck this! I'm taking an Uber." I was like, "I can't do more planes, trains, or non, cab automobiles at this point." That is way worse because you're just, you're the only man behind enemy lines. You're the lone survivor.
That's when you just like take a nap in your car to rest area if you're like driving.
Yeah. And no one really knows why you look like you saw a murder and were the second target of it, but survived.
Everybody just thinks you've been driving for like 3 days and you're on meth or something.
Yeah. And oftentimes I'm coming back from Missouri, so like that's like what most people are.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're racist and on meth.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your so are we on your number
4
now? Okay,
I want to do a little preface of this one.
Okay, let's hear it.
I am not a strip club guy.
I'm not either. I've been to them, but I'm not a strip club guy.
I'm not. I think it's probably gone higher than it was, but maybe 5 times in my life I've been in strip clubs. That's like an admirable. That's like an okay low number. It's not like a low number that I can brag about how few times I've gone.
I think 4 or 5 for me in my life. I'm 34 years old, man. That's not a strip club guy.
Yeah, I mean, to be our age and kind of party and only have been this few times, I feel pretty good about.
Yeah.
But here's what I will say about strip clubs. Every time I have been to one, I have had a great time.
Oh, I have had a great time, but not every time.
But that is because I am with my friends and we are shit-faced and we're doing something before that. And it led up to going to a strip club.
I've and
it's with your best friends and you're having so much fun. And that's when it's fun.
See, I've experienced the opposite where I was with like friends and we went and we were just like, why the fuck are we here?
You weren't drunk enough.
Dude, it was like 4 a.m. We were hammered. We didn't have, the problem is I don't think we had a strip club guy.
I was recently revealed that several of my friends they started building like this pyramid of dollar bills. I didn't know that that's how you did it. They're like, yeah, this is how you get their attention. I was like, really? I was like, all it takes is origami and strippers will come hang out.
Yeah, you can tell who's a strip club guy once you get to the strip club. You need a strip club guy with you when you're at the strip club. If you don't, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a few of those, but it ain't me. Also, I don't really have a ton of money. And that's
it kind of seems like a waste of money to me.
There's no way on earth it isn't.
It's not worth it. It's never worth it. I've had a couple. I've had 2 really good times. One fine, one sucky, and then I went another time. I just don't remember.
I mean, I had a time where we went to VIPs and my friend knew the manager, and they gave us like their equivalent of
VIPs is the worst strip club in America.
It's horrible. They gave us their equivalent of Disney dollars, though.
Yeah, I was at VIP. That's the one where I had a bad time.
We were making paper airplanes out of them and throwing them on stage. And
that's the one where I had a bad time. Was VIPs. It sucked. My best one was at my bachelor party at Spearmint Rhino in Vegas.
That is a strip club where I told the stripper I hated myself.
I like that we've not been to that many strip clubs, but we seem to have some overlap in the strip clubs. Have you been to the
Vegas.
Admiral? Have you been to the
No,
Admiral?
I have not.
I went there when I was 18.
I do comedy shows at a bar next to it, and there are always kids that accidentally come in. I'm like, this is not even close to what you're looking for. Or they'll come in, they'll be like, have you seen my friend? He's like white, 6 feet, wearing a hoodie. And I'm like, that's everyone. We're in Avondale.
That's hilarious.
Okay, and I will get to Vegas a little later, as I think you probably will.
Yeah, I will too. So then are we on my number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one that I thought was fake. I had a roommate in college that got it, but I've now experienced this a few times. It's the 48-hour hangover. Or the hangover to the hangover. It's like the sequel to the hangover. So it sucks. You ever got a 2-day hangover, Brendan?
I'm thinking of it, and my most notable hangovers were mostly one day.
The 2-day hangover, as you get that first day, it's just a brutal hangover. You're going to sleep hungover. Feel like shit all day. Go to sleep hungover. Now, that's happened before, but then usually you wake up fine after you go to sleep hungover. Then you wake up the next day, he's got the shakes, the headache. That's the day where I'm just like, and it's like anxiety filled, and it's just the worst day ever. That second day of the 2-day hangover. You're not quite as hungover as the first day, but for me, it's more anxiety filled, and I just feel like something is wrong with me.
I think I could just, just power all of that into the one day.
You lump that all together. I've had it lumped together too, but I prefer it lumped together. No reason to drag this out.
I mean, I might have that second day where I don't feel like myself, like where I'm like a racehorse who, I just lost a step or two, probably not going to be a thoroughbred anymore, but I get it back.
Yeah, it just blows. So then my number 3 is, it's a potency of hangover. It's the top level. It's the morning vomit hangover. That's it. When it comes to actual, not like circumstance, but actual potency of your hangover, if you're throwing up in the morning, I experienced this first probably like when I was like 25. I was taking a shower and just started throwing up. And man, God bless my wife. She gets these regularly.
Whew. My number 1 is the last time I believe I vomited from drinking.
Period, or like the night after?
The last time I puked from drinking was this time that I will be talking about number 1.
Now, I sometimes just force myself to throw up before I go to bed. It's a great way to lose weight before a show. It's not bulimia at all. But if I'm super, super drunk, if I like see myself spinning a little bit before, like when I'm home, I just force myself to throw up. It'll help the hangover later. It's probably not healthy. I'm probably admitting to some alcoholism right now by saying that.
Dude, we're just poisoning our bodies. There's nothing healthy about it. This whole podcast is about the way we react to poison. It should be the title of this podcast.
What's your number 3?
A holiday with family hangover. And of course, Thanksgiving will come to mind because people go out drinking on the Wednesday.
Timing here. This is what's going on right now, probably. And maybe when you're listening to this.
But I've had some random ones lately, like one Mother's Day the night before. I just stayed out till 4 a.m. and it was late. And I was just like, you know what? The move is just to take a cab to Oak Park. That was not the move at all.
How expensive is a cab to Oak Park?
It's $40.
Oh, so not as bad as I thought, but still sucks.
It's more like waking up on a couch at your parents' house at 9 o'clock, being like, "It's Mother's Day. Thank you for coming." I love you so much, Mom. That's why I did this. Not because I was drinking with a woman I thought was Miley Cyrus, and I went home. Which is actually that story is not my own. I'm stealing that from my brother.
That's your brother, and I don't think that girl was Miley Cyrus.
I went around for months showing pictures. People almost unanimously it was agreed upon that she was not. She was just probably a hooker that looked like Miley Cyrus.
She looked like her, but I don't think it was her.
No, because we saw we did research. She was at Underground that night, and this was at the Mid. And then Sean came home and puked all over the floor, and I cleaned it up. And I think that he's like never done anything stupid after that because he feels so bad about it. It was like a week before his birthday, and I was like, "Happy birthday, motherfucker!"
Yeah, hungover during a family holiday. I don't think I've had that in a while. I used to obviously Thanksgiving, and the worst is like when it would be like so like you come home from college on Thanksgiving. You do your stupid Wednesday night drinking. And then Thanksgiving would be like at my grandma's house. So not only have I hung over, but I'm like on a car ride. It's been like on like an hour car ride to my grandma's house. Trying not to like shit my pants. Or
just trying to keep it in on both ends.
Just trying to keep everything in. Try not to look out the window. Like inevitably XRT. My dad's listening to XRT and they're going to play the Adam Sandler Thanksgiving song. On and that drive.
Alice's Restaurant will be played as well.
Yeah.
That 25-minute song.
Yes, that's the name of that song. That long ass song. And I'll be like, I don't even know what the song is. It just goes forever.
Not even really a song.
It just goes forever. Stop it. Bring back the terrible Adam Sandler song. At least it's short. At least it's short. Yeah, and then you're like trying to find like a couch to lay on. But there's like not enough room for you to like lay on a couch.
No, it's the disease of love seats.
And there's like too many people for you to take up a whole couch. So then like my move is like eat really fast and kind of bail on dinner fast so I can lay on a couch for like 5 minutes whilst people are still sitting at the dinner table. It's not good. That's probably the only holiday I ever did. I guess I probably had a hungover. I don't know if I've really ever had hungover Christmases too much. I don't think so.
Well, because the way Christmas works is different.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a rough one, man. I agree. That's a rough one.
I used to just drink through. What I would do is I would just drink through the whole Thanksgiving day. Is I would come to Oak Park and watch my friends play football because they still insist on playing tackle football, which is insane considering the frequency of bone breaks that have occurred in that Thanksgiving Day game over the years. Like, one a year. I'm not kidding. And I'm talking like torn ACLs and broken arms. Like, there has been some bad shit. Because there are like the 6 guys who have stayed in shape.
And then the other guys who are playing.
Yes, and the other guys who are playing.
It's not good.
There are guys who are like form tackling, like it's Oak Park River Forest versus Lions Township.
I haven't played a Thanksgiving Day football game since I was like 18.
Oh, also, it's like 15 on 15.
Oh, I have friends who do. I don't know if they might have finally stopped, and they do it up in like by Milwaukee, and they have like it's 11 on 11. They have subs. They have defensive and offensive lines. They have first down markers.
Well, I mean, you have the first down marker that you can get like 1 or 2 first
No,
downs.
they have it. They had like the local Milwaukee news came out and shot up because they've been doing this forever.
That's just the quintessential local Thanksgiving Day story.
Yeah, like they just need something to put on there.
Yeah. The O'Shaughnessy's have been playing at Scoville Park for 22 years.
They have like jerseys. Like I think they're t-shirts, but whatever. Yeah, it's great. I just hear their stories. And I'm like, I'm good with just hearing your stories afterwards. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be a part of that. So are we on your number 3?
Two.
Two.
We did Holiday of Family. So you did your.
Yeah, I did my 3 already.
Your 3, and you do your. Do I do my 2 and 1?
Yeah, you do your 2, and then I do my 2 and 1, and we end on your 1.
Okay. Still drunk hangover, which you said. I think it's way worse than. I think
it's not that bad.
I think it's a combination of this and the surprise hangover to some extent, because if you're still drunk, that means you probably woke up pretty early, which means you probably had something to do. There was a day where I went to a Vampire Weekend concert with some of our former colleagues, and I drank my ass off. And I came to work. Did you
dress up? Do people dress up for Vampire Weekend concerts?
No, that's Arcade Fire.
Whatever, it's all the same. Go ahead.
Yeah, all too cool for you. And I got up at like 6:45, and I was like, I feel fucking great. Went to work, brought all of our colleagues like little aspirin and put them on their desks, and like worked like pretty efficiently till 10 o'clock, and then just. It was like a croquet mallet hit me in the balls, and someone punched me in the temple at the same moment.
See, at least with the still drunk one, I know that's coming.
I just thought I was just like, I don't know. I was still drunk, so maybe my logic wasn't really there. I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing.
At least you didn't have to drive.
You can't get hungover for Vampire Weekend. Those guys are awesome. That's how their music works.
Well, I could completely change my opinions on Vampire Weekend. I don't hate Vampire Weekend, but I would become a huge fan if it meant I could not be hungover every time I listened to them.
Yeah, you'd be playing Hannah Hunt all the time.
But yeah, still drunk it's an interesting one because sometimes it's kind of fun when you realize you're still drunk.
You know, if you don't have anything to do, I guess it's not that bad.
But yeah, but you're
or if you could keep drinking.
But in your situation there, you combine still drunk, delayed hangover, and at work, which is like you're just combining and multiplying the effects of these.
I went home at 2, I think. I also will say one thing I want to bring up is I have never called out of work with a hangover.
I never have either. 100% never have. I've called out of work sick. I've never called out of work with a hangover.
I've called out of work with an unexpected one-night stand, but that's like because I wanted to spend the day celebrating. But then when I had the hangover the next day, I went to fucking work. Because I'm a man of principle.
Oh, speaking of something you brought up earlier, when you were talking about how summer Fridays like deceive you because you think you could be like drinking before you go to them. My dream scenario is always to have something called like winter Mondays or like autumn Mondays where you get to come in late on Monday. Like you come in at like noon 30 on a Monday. And yeah, it's because then you can have fully embrace a Sunday fun day and like barbecue and like watch football and stuff and just fully embrace it.
Yeah, that's something that all these companies, they're like, we're so employee friendly. We have foosball. Look at that sculpture of a cat. I mean, if you really want to be employee friendly,
at least do it after the Super Bowl.
Mondays. Oh, there should be offices that close for the fucking Super Bowl. It's absurd.
If you're a quote unquote cool company, hey, maybe let people work from home Super Bowl Monday. Like at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're employee friendly and you get it and you're hip. I'm doing a lot of air quotes that nobody can see. But yeah, maybe toss somebody a bone Super Bowl Monday.
Yeah, these cool companies are so full of shit.
You know what? They probably are a few out there, but the percentage of companies who think they're that and actually are is fucking insane.
If anyone says they have a startup vibe, I'm very skeptical.
And you're not a startup.
I'm very skeptical of your startup vibe. If you have 100 employees and are publicly traded, I'm very skeptical of this.
Yeah, you can't just like throw a foosball table or a ping pong table in there and call it a startup.
No.
All right, so then I'm on my number 2.
Yeah,
I think my number 2 is clearly your number 1.
I'm surprised you got one above this, but we could talk about it.
It's one we've already discussed, but I think it's worse. My number 2 is Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas it's the worst hangover of my life.
Number 2 is Vegas. My worst Vegas hangover was in Vegas because it was my bachelor party, and it was a 3-night bachelor party, and half of our flights got canceled, and we couldn't get home. So we had all paced ourselves and budgeted ourselves for 3 nights in Vegas, and we had a 4th.
3 nights is probably one too many. 4 nights is like you might die.
Do you want to hear about what our 4th day in Vegas was like? So here's what it was. We went on one of those websites where you just like blindly pick a hotel for the cheapest price. We got a $100 room at the Vidara, which does not have a casino, but it's connected to like the Aria. We got a $100 room there, nice room, crammed. I think 4 or 5 guys into it because we clearly had not budgeted ourselves for this. Me and 2 of the other guys took a cab to In-N-Out Burger. 2 of the other guys ordered $30 room service quesadillas. We then went back to the room, laid around, watched football. Or like I think it might have been like the first weekend of college football or something like that. Like we watched some stuff and then I just watched TV. Then we walked to a sports bar in New York. Just ate at the sports bar. I had a Coke in Vegas. I had a Coke. We went back to the room, ordered Fast Five on demand for $15, and we're all asleep by like 9:30 or 10.
Yeah, but you love Fast Five, so that's not even that bad a day.
Well, it's not, but I felt terrible. But you have to do something, like, because you can't do anything because you're trapped in Vegas. You don't want to be in the casino. It's so loud. But the other Vegas though thing is, here's why I don't have it number one. I would rather be on a plane than in a car.
Okay, I'll give you. I'm gonna go a little bit of detail.
I would rather be on a plane than driving a car, and that's why I don't. That's why my number one is post wedding.
Okay,
I've intentionally not drank much at a wedding to avoid the post wedding hangover. I would never not drink my last night in Vegas to avoid the Vegas hangover.
I have not drank as much in Vegas because I was so done. I have almost cried at McCarran International Airport because I could not get an earlier flight.
Next time I go, I'm doing my wife's move, which is fly out at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I think that is a move because you're going to feel like death anyway.
You sleep on the plane. You just
Maybe.
pass out on the plane. She passed out on the plane. She actually fell asleep. Last time she did it was at a wedding we went to together. The bachelorette party for that wedding. I
remember seeing you that day, and you're like just as home sleeping.
She fell asleep sitting at the seat closest to the entrance of the plane at the airport. They didn't wake her up, and she randomly woke up at the last second and ran onto the plane.
Oh, that almost was a horror story.
She got on, she slept the whole way, and it was Burger Fest. So when she got back at like whatever time it was, like at like 1:30, she had to walk through like loud bands playing and like people drinking and like greasy food. Like walk a block through
playing ants marching. Like he wakes up in the morning.
Like walking a block through that. She's been wearing these ridiculous like neon orange aviator sunglasses the whole time with like a golden headband on. But yeah, my Vegas hangovers just haven't been that bad. Maybe I've had worse ones in Vegas, like in the middle of that 3-day trip. That was a brutal one. But post wedding, it's just I can't land that driving a car 6 hours or something like that. When you get those long ones, like that wedding we went to was like in where, like Fond du Lac or some crap.
Yeah, it was far.
And then I've been to one in Columbus, which I've been, and then the worst one was, though it was like that same situation where there's like 4 people in the car, so it's like, and they're all like your friends, so it's kind of fun. Was at what's the name of that place, that really waspy place in Michigan, the island?
Mackinac Island.
Mackinac. There's no way to fly there, man. You just gotta drive like 8.5 hours.
Did you have to take a ferry too?
Yeah.
Ugh. How much do you love this person? You know, like sometimes I think destination weddings are a contest to see how inconvenient you can make it.
I kind of, me and Jess talked about that. We almost did one. I kind of wish we kind of just were like, you know what? We're going to Vegas. This is the weekend.
Okay, well, that's a little different. That's a little different because actually that's not that inconvenient.
Yeah, because anybody can get a hotel anywhere they want. There's plenty of you fly. There's plenty of options, price tiers, depending on what people want to spend.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't have to stay at like where you're, you know what I mean? Like
the flight to Vegas is never cheap. That I'll say, but
not from Chicago.
No.
Right? Like Chicago just doesn't have, I don't know why. It's so weird. Like I don't understand like how certain routes and certain places are, like it's much cheaper to fly like San Francisco or LA than it is to fly to Vegas.
It's about the options.
And hubs and things have.
Hubs. I mean, Vegas, you get way cheaper from like Minneapolis.
Yeah, absolutely.
For whatever reason.
I'll probably have to do that next time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I could do Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a little cheaper, I think, than Chicago too, or at least the same.
Well, maybe that's where we'll go for our first of the worst 1-year anniversary podcast, which is only a few months away, folks.
So we're going for the Super Bowl? This was our first episode, like
Super Bowl was Super Bowl Sunday.
We're going to Vegas for the Super Bowl. It's gonna be rough because I have my annual fantasy football beer pong tournament the day before that.
And also it's easy to get a room. So
is it? Do you think it's Vegas? Do you think it's a big gambling day? Super Bowl Sunday might be a big. I don't know,
dude. Yeah, fuck yeah, it's a big gambling day. I mean, it's not as big as
like. Are people like? Are the rooms all booked? I know it's a big gambling day, but like, are the rooms all booked? Are people like going to Vegas to watch a Super Bowl?
I'm sure that it's
The
crowded.
Super Bowl should just be in Vegas.
It's not weekend one of the NCAA tournament. But yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl should be in Vegas, but the NFL hates gambling, except that it's part owner of a website that promotes gambling and kind of has insider
DraftKings or
trading.
FanDuel? Which one?
I don't know which one. MLB is too.
Yeah, NBA is FanDuel.
I mean,
Adam Silver's way more. Adam Silver basically says it should be legal. That sports betting should be legal.
Well, he wants to get a team in Vegas,
and he thinks it should be legal and regulated more, which I think is true. But
I mean, it seems like an area to generate revenue because our government's just overflowing in revenue.
So much, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that Vegas, just to close out, for me, it's it's 1,000,000 degrees. You're drinking in the pool during the day. You're drinking in the club during the night. And yeah, if you're in Vegas, you're going to clubs, which is just how it is. So you're drinking liquor and champagne, and spending money, and it was just too much. My first night in Vegas with my friends, I was just
liquor. It's the liquor that gets you, right? Like, because if you're getting like bottle service,
I drank a shitload of champagne too.
You're getting hooked up.
Yeah, I'm getting hooked up. I mean, I'm not,
because I'm never ordering those champagne bottles. It's not fucking worth it.
No, I mean, I have a friend who's, as you know, and probably anyone listens, I have a friend whose brother runs a couple places out there, so we're getting deals and things. And girls like champagne. And when I was going to Vegas, more of us were single than we are now, since almost none of us are. But
you could not go to a club a night in Vegas. I've definitely not gone to the club.
You can go a night, but like that's the party. The party out there is the clubs.
Yeah, you're going to a club one of the nights you go.
The pool,
right, like
the pool thing in Vegas, I think is awesome.
You like the pool club thing?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the fucking music, but I got to see Cam Newton.
See, I saw Carlos Boozer at the strip club, but
we were at a club and CJ Spiller was there and no one recognized him, so the DJ kept being like, "CJ Spiller in the house." And like the five dorks who like kind of know who that is, and this was 4 years ago, so he wasn't shit still. I mean, he actually probably was more famous then. We were like, "Hey, who? Awesome!" And everyone else was like, "Who the fuck is CJ Spiller?"
Nobody cares. I think Jess, when they were for that bachelorette party, they were at the club. It was also Darrell Revis's birthday party. Probably, I don't know if any of those other girls knew who he was besides my wife.
He's better than CJ Spiller.
Well, he's a way better football player.
And way richer man.
Way richer man. Way richer man. All right, this was enlightening. This is a nice AM podcast for those who didn't know.
Yeah.
We started this AM. Very rare thing for us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. You want to give our typical credentials here?
Yeah. You should follow, like us on Facebook at First the Worst. We've been picking up some likes lately. That's nice. You should also, if you like the podcast, share it on Facebook. That's actually a great help.
That is actually the biggest thing you can do.
Yeah, share it on Facebook, or like if you follow us on Twitter, to like retweet it on Twitter or whatever, or share it on Twitter, or however you do it. And then the other big thing you could do is subscribe on iTunes and write a review on iTunes, which I know seems weird to do, but that actually helps a lot for the iTunes stuff if you do that. So that would be awesome. And we are also on Stitcher if you like that. And thanks for listening, everybody. Well, we'll see you later.